Hi, this is Alchemist2, and I'm back again with another play review. This time I am reviewing Taming of the Shrew, which is another Shakespeare comedy, and according to the playbill, it was actually a earlier comedy that was written by the bard himself. And like many of his plays, including his comedies, they are commentary on the society in his day. And I just thought it was a very intriguing study of how males and females interact and how they relate to each other and how they are different and how they are alike. And it's also indicative of how society can be, and just the the sort of the hoops that we women have men jump through in order for them to like us or to court us. And it's really fascinating actually, because the main character, Baptista's daughter, Bianca, she is very beautiful. She's very modest and pure, and the pet of her mother. And Kate, or Catherine is her actual name, she is a very tempestuous woman, and she has a hellish temper, and she cannot be controlled by anyone or anything, and she's basically her own boss, and she wants everybody to know that. And I think that she's in the shadow of her sister, and she's the exact opposite. They're on the end of differing poles. And throughout the play itself, you have two characters in the very beginning of the play that exchange clothing and masquerade as each other in order to court Bianca. And of course, later on, this ruse is discovered, and it is all for naught. And actually, they make amends and everything, but it's really quite funny. And and it's very interesting with my two favorite characters are Petruchio and Kate. And of course, they're actually the focus. They're the focal point of the entire play. It's interesting because they mirror each other in their personality. Both of them are just loony as anybody can be, like escapees from an asylum, and both of them have horrible tempers, and both of them are very free-spirited and want everything their own way. But the whole title, The Taming of the Shrew, I think it comes from both of them are the shrew, basically. And I know, spoiler alert, and anyway, they, throughout the second part, mainly the second part of the play, they tame each other. They are able to balance each other out, basically. And I thought, well, that's very intriguing, and just the symbolicism of the play itself, how Shakespeare does this, is beautiful. And the quatrains throughout this are just exquisite, like many of the things that Shakespeare did. And I'm a huge Shakespeare fan. I never studied this particular play when I was in college, but I love his comedies. His comedies are my favorite. And honestly, I have to say that this is another one of my favorites, and I really enjoyed it. I felt that it was a full play and really quite funny, and there are a lot of amusing moments in it. Two thumbs way up. And there was one point in time where I actually felt like I was going to cry, because it was just so beautiful, and how to me it illustrated just how miraculous the power of love is within human relationships, and how important that is, and how you you have to love each other. There has to be love, or what's the point in actually having a relationship? There really is none. And if you just yell at each other and bicker all the time, you're not going to have any enjoyment out of your marriage. And I love Kate and her willfulness, and just how spirited she is. And her lines are the best lines in the entire. Well, besides Petruchio, he has some good lines too. they are just magnificent, and the way that are foils for each other is brilliant. Just Shakespeare's a genius. I absolutely adored this, and I think any fan of Shakespeare would. I know that the Shakespearean might be a little bit daunting, but it's more like Comedy of Errors in the fact that you have two characters that exchange clothing. Well, in Comedy of Errors, they don't really do that. There's a similarity because you have two men that take on each other's identity, and then they go and they masquerade as each other, and then eventually they are discovered for who they really are. And I think there's a lot of philosophy in this, and existentialism, and family relationships, and it's just really fantastic. I think it's really a magnificent play, just wonderfully done. And I love this theater and the round concept that they're doing in Bloomington. And the costumes were beautiful. The set was beautiful. It was just lovely. And everything about it I just absolutely adored. And all the characters were just tremendous. And there were some characters that I recognized from Comedy of Errors because they had been in that before. And then there was the woman who played Baptista. She had played in the Music Man, and she did a wonderful job. I thought actually that everybody did a spectacular job. They were all phenomenal as far as I'm concerned. Not one of you flubbed your lines or anything, and I'm very impressed by that because Shakespeare is difficult to learn. But when you learn the quatrains, it's really not that big of a deal because it's like learning a song. And if you learn a song lyrics, you can keep it in your head, and you're golden. But it's really just a beautiful, beautiful story, and that the ending, which is a happy ending, and I loved it. It just made me all tingly inside, and I thought, aw, wouldn't that be perfect if such a thing would happen to me? But eventually it will. I'm not worried about that. But truly, truly, 4 stars, 2 thumbs, way, way up for Taming of the Shrew. I definitely recommend it, and it bears my Alchemist 2 stamp of approval. Meow.